That has to have been enough to get us across the ad roll. So, cans on. Let's get down to business, shall we? I hope everyone can hear me. If you can't, please holla, and I'll see what the problem is. If you can, then we're all golden. So, I shall start as I usually do with the housekeeping, and then we will say hi to everyone in the side chat. Just give me 1 second here, peeps. Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the 19th of July episode of my live streaming goodness. We have beer, we have a blade, and we're going to talk about bushcraft. Before I say hi to everyone in the side chat, I'm just going to do a little housekeeping, which goes as follows, as I always say. If you are watching us, time shifted to tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, thank you. I love seeing those eyes on the stuff. I love seeing the comments appear in the doobly-doo down below the show notes. You guys are terrific. If at any point tonight you really like what's happening, I invite you to hit that thumbs up. If at any point tonight you kind of hate what's happening, that's all right. The thumbs down works as well. And if at some point you decide you want to take a more active role in supporting the channel, as so many in the side chat already have, then I invite you to check out the join button below the screen. Below the video window, I guess. In there you will find 2 tiers, and you can see which one interests you the most. I would also like to say that fans of Kevin Callan, the Happy Camper, next week, this will be the place to be. He's going to be here to talk about books and probably paddling as well. So without much further ado, the beer for tonight is a Blonde by Alchemist Microbrasserie. Put it next to my face so that the camera can focus upon it. It just says Blonde. Because it's yellow, white on yellow, I have no idea what it says. Lighting in here is terrible. Nice looking can. I do love their aesthetic. And let's get this baby open, shall we? Still nice and cold. I like that. If Serge is here, I'm going to blow this pour. If he's not, then it's going to be perfect because that's just the way things go. That's a blonde, all right. I don't usually drink blondes, but we're a little low on stouts right now. Am I destroying this pour? No, I'm not. Looky da. Looky da. Here's so the camera can focus upon it. I'm pretty proud of that pour. It's a blonde ale. Does it say it's an ale? It tastes like an ale. 5% alcohol by volume, so it's a straight up normal ass Canadian beer. These 473 ml sizes seem to be like the quasi-official micro can size. I think it's a good size. Oh, I like it. Yeah, very nice. It's a nice summery beverage. Nice. The whiskey for later is the Loch Lomond 12. I think I've said before to you guys that it's really weird for me to be holding a Loch Lomond bottle, because to me Loch Lomond is just the fictitious whiskey in all the Tintin books that Captain Haddock loves so much. Now this is a 12, so as most whiskey anoraks like me will tell you, it's a year in the glass it's a minute in the glass per year in the cask. So I will just pour this and let it sit for at least 12 minutes before getting into it. It's probably going to sit for longer, like an hour, but anyways, that's how it goes. So now that we've done that and that and that, I'm going to mute myself so I can. And I'm going to say hi to everyone in the side chat. I'm going to put my water over here. I'm going to put my tea over here because tea is a good drink. So who we got? We got Robin. The internet was in. Oh, man. Rob, are you still here? You commented at 8:03. Holy crap. And he said, I'm so ready for a few drinks and beer, blazing bushcraft evening. Thanks for hanging with us. I hope you're still here. That's early. Tenenbaum is ready, willing, and able. That's nice to see, sir. I'm going to put my phone there just in case. Linda from Lipstick Lodge says she's slowly moving into her tiny house, almost done putting the daybed together. Lacey is the new rescue dog. We both spent our first night in the house last night. Nice. Linda, I saw Lacey on your Facebooks, and you sent me a photo. Lovely looking dog. I miss having dogs. I really do. I would like to have one to hit the woods with, do some filming, hang out. I haven't had a dog in years, but I really like having dogs. She's a blue, saying hello, everyone. Nice to see you. David Evans in the house. David, by the way, is a channel member. He hit that join button at one point, and I hope is loving being a member, because I love having him as a member. For those of you who don't know, David has a channel of his own, which if one of my mods or David himself, I think, can put that up on in the chat. I'm just going to check, David, if you're a mod or not, because in StreamYard it doesn't tell me. But David, I think you are a mod. Yes, you are. So you can throw that up. And when he puts it up, everybody right click on it, save and open it in a new tab so you can go and check his stuff out later. She's a blue is trying not to melt, and I am as well. We hit 30 degrees here today, according to the CBC, and I was not happy about it. I had to run out and buy something for supper, and I went and sat down in my car, and it felt like I sat down in a huge mouth. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. Straight up, it really is. When I was in BC, I could handle way hotter days than I can handle here because it's not that sort of sticky, wet, humid tire fire. Yeah. Rob on the internet says, I went outside today and came right back and it was so nasty. Yeah. It's like I always say here when it gets really sort of hot and sticky, I always say it's like you open your door and walk it straight into a tongue. It's horrible. Even hotter there tomorrow. Yeah, I don't even know what tomorrow's going to bring. I hope it's not too bad, but I do believe we've been told that it's quite a bit hotter. So Jess King hanging in from Hokkaido. We were just complaining about how hot it is here in Montreal and I guess Ontario. I'm wondering how it is in Hokkaido tonight. I guess it's not tonight for you right now, is it? Rob is drinking, trying to stay cool. We have one of those heat pump things, air conditioning, on the third floor, but it's actually too small a unit for this house. It's the unit that was here when we bought this house, so it doesn't do much for the ground floor, and it does nothing for the basement. So I'm kind of melting down here. Everyone's still saying hi. She's a Blues waiting for fall. Fall is my favorite season. Oh, David, nice to know that things are getting better for you. It sounds like it's been a rough week. I've been trying not to bug you about that, but I've been thinking about you, man. Charles and Annie are here. Nice to see you. I'm just... Did you buy a helmet? Yeah, I've been wondering about that too. Hey, Long Quest in the house. How's it going? Gary's in the house as well. Nice to see you. Nice team we got here tonight so far. I'm just saying, trying to say hi to everyone. It looks like you guys are all saying hi to everyone too. Kelly Simmons in the house. Nice to see you as well. Here. Canadian has hit the thumbs up. I invite the rest of you to do the same if you're liking what's happening so far. David is asking if I have whiskey, and I'm not sure if I'm that far behind or if you saw what I got. You talk the high road and I'll talk the low. I'll be in Scotland afore ye. Little Loch Lomond action. Me and my true love will never meet again. The bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Hey, there's Ian. Nice to see you, Ian. And Destiny. Man, all the regulars are here. This is great. This is amazing. And thank you, David, for putting that up. I am so far behind. Carol, how's it going? Nice to see you. And by the way, I also like to point out that Carol is a channel member. So you know what I'm going to say, right? Personal hero. Grace Martin coming in. Nice to see you. Actually, coming in. Crumbs. That was like 7 minutes ago. I am so far behind. Sorry, guys. Hike with Mike also came in 7 minutes ago. How's it going, mister? Nice to see you. For anyone who like pops in during this part of my live streams and it's like their first time here, this must be so boring. But I like to say hi to everyone. You miss hiking with your basset hound. Man, those are a magical species of dog, eh? Not species. What's the... Sorry, because I said espèce is a species, but it's also kind of like an espèce is a kind of race. No, species. Whatever. Never mind. Forget about it. I'm just making sure I've said hi to everyone. Destiny had a severe thunderstorm yesterday. Live wires were down on the road. 2 farmhouses flattened. Yikes. We did not have that big a deal. We had a lot of rain, though. We had enough rain that I had to empty out the pool a little bit because it went like from this far down to like that. Hike with Mike loves Sapporo beer. And I do, yeah, I think you're right. Sapporo is from Hokkaido, isn't it? There you go, David Evans. Check out his channel, and if you like it, what's not to like? Then subscribe. Oh, wet and temperatures in the 20s. I like it. Ron and Kelly say hi. How's it going, Ron and Kelly? Welcome to the welcome to the circus. I'm almost caught up here. Darth Vader, what a night! You're absolutely right. You are so right. Breed is probably the word I was looking for. Yes. Yes. Linda's having water. I also have water with me. I have water, beer, whiskey, and a tea. I'm going to take a sip of tea, actually. So, no Russell tonight. Or at least no Russell on screen. I don't know if he's going to join the side chat or not. But hey, and I'm not entirely sure what we're going to discuss. David wants me to tell you about an upcoming trip that I'm hoping to take to Raspberry Rock. I'm hoping to leave for the last weekend of September, like how it switches over into October. At least that's what I'm planning. Rob on the internet is also drinking water with hops. Oh, I missed Jonathan Milley. Sorry. How's it going? Nice to see you. So in prep for that, I bought David's going to recognize this. David Evans has this as well. In fact, he's the reason I bought this because I didn't even know this existed until he said that he had just Amazoned one. No, I'm not going to say that I didn't know that this existed because I mean, I recognize this, but I hadn't thought. The bug shirt I was going to buy was that one that's called the Original Bug Shirt, made in Canada, or is a Canadian company anyway. They sell them at Mountain Equipment. It's not Co-op anymore. Tenenbaum, Mountain Equipment Company. But apparently that is very, it doesn't breathe. You can get real sweaty in that one. So I don't want to do that. I talked about that one with friend to the channel, Pine Martin, and he's the one who said, don't get that one. From experience, I'm telling you, you'll just sweat your ass right off. So I'm like, okay. This one seems to be Do they have English? Yes, they have English. This seems to be kind of all mesh, but I'm not sure. Anyways, I look forward to trying that out before going to Raspberry Rock. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, hey, Christy, how's it going? Is it both of you? Oh, there's Russell. Oops. There's Russell. Russell, I've already told him that you won't be on screen with us tonight. I wasn't sure if you were going to be hanging out or not. Destiny, I will definitely sleep in a hammock, I believe. That's my plan at any rate. So I bought this for nothing. Hey, here's an interesting thing. This is size large/XL. I don't think I'm big enough for large/XL, but on Amazon it said one size. I should check on that. I should absolutely check on that. It's got la taille. Wait, English side. It's got the sizing on it. I should check to see if there's another size, because if there is, I'm going to send this back and buy, like, if there's a medium/L. Oh, David tried his today. Nice. Definitely keeps the deer flies out. Around where I live, I don't have to deal with a lot of deer flies or horse flies or anything like that. But in some parts of the more rural parts of the province, I've definitely lost a few chunks of meat, shall we say. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Well, but then, hi, Sharon. I totally missed that. Hi, Sharon. Bring it anyway. Sure. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't weigh anything. I'll just throw it in my bag. I'm still trying to figure out if I can bring an axe on the train or not. No. I was going to call today, but I'm on a gross deadline at the day job, so I'll probably have to call on Monday. Oh, David says that there is only one size. Okay. All right, so I'm not even going to think about it then. Would anyone like to see a video about me trying to... I don't know if all of you have seen this video, but where I reviewed 2 Scotch-eyed augers, and one of them had a chip out of it, and I went to return it. Excuse me, and it was like 3 days late to get into the return window. So I'm thinking I might just try to figure out a way to salvage it, maybe sharpen it up. Let me know if anyone would be interested in seeing that video. I'm not going to know what I'm doing. I may just wreck it more, but since I can't return it, I either make it usable or I can't possibly make it worse than it is. So let me know. Let me know. Oh, wow. Must not forget Duolingo right after this live stream. Tim missed the drum solo. Do it again. I think the thing is, Tim, I think most people do miss the drum solo, because the only reason I'm doing it is to get us over the ad roll, because people were saying that they were missing the first part of my live stream because of the ads. So there's one vote for a video of me trying to get that thing working. Man, I'm so disappointed in that. And I think it's that chunk that's out of the cutting part, because I see reviews of that thing where they're saying it's terrific, it's great. I'm like, so how come I got a bum one? Why did I get a... Oh, happens to be all the time. Carol, no, sorry, that's Tim. Okay. That's not what I meant to... This is what I wanted to say. Carol is asking, are people having issues with trees dying and limbs falling on their vehicles, just as just happened to me? Big damage? How big was the limb? David says, so going back to your trip to Wrestler, I pick up at the train station. Yes. Spend overnight at my place. Okay. Could do trip in the AM and meet Russell for lunch at Subway. I guess that's where we do the the handoff. I don't know. Did you and Russell discuss that? Are you both on board with that plan? I mean, I have no problem with it. I will bring my my PFD. PFD, yeah. Good summertime beer. It's perfect for hot weather. Is there a good LCBO around there? Because I wouldn't mind like hitting an LCBO and seeing if I can pick up some beers and stuff to bring home. Every now and again, I jump the line into Hawkesbury and pick up some stuff, but Linda says a skinny pine tree fell on my shed. Did it damage it? I'm looking for a Carol's answer to see. Russell thinks I should spend as little time as possible with David. You guys, you guys are a couple of brats. You think so? Yeah. Tim, I did not. Oops, Tim, I. There we go. Did you see those huge waves in Hawaii crashing completely over two-story condos? I did not. I have not seen much. I did kind of accidentally see that London is on fire. And they've, anyways, they're on fire. They're probably out by now, but there's a beer store in Tweed. Okay, good to know. Wondering if there's any Ontario gins I got to pick up. I picked up a couple last time I was in Hawkesbury, but I don't think I've opened any of them yet. So I'm probably not in a big. Ontario is where I picked up the what was that garbage whiskey called? Proper 12. That's the Conor McGregor bottle. Made a video about it. It has the honor of being the lowest score I've ever given anything. I think I gave it a 4 or a 2 on 10. It was garbage. It was a pile of crap disguised as a bottle of whiskey. So should I be hitting LCBO in Kingston then instead of Tweed? Tim, yeah, they have the LCBO and the beer store. It's funny because in Quebec, the SAQ, which is our liquor commission, they handle like all the spirits. They have beer, and they do all of the wine that's above a certain quality level. But you can buy a kind of plonky wine at the grocery store, and the dépanneur, whatever the heck a dépanneur is called elsewhere, corner store, whatever. A lot of them is where you're going to get your beer. You can also get beer at the grocery store, and except for a couple of really kick-ass dépanneur, the grocery stores are where the big sort of microbrew sections are. Yeah, I will probably be getting there because I think I'm aiming for a train at 6:30. So yeah, I'll be getting there after closing. Carol says that the big limb that fell on her tree on her car is about 8 inches wide. That's a big limb. David and Raspberry Rock and Russell are both offering to help me out with what I might want from the LCBO. Country boy in the house. Nice to see you. We're discussing my my trip to see Russell later in the fall, and we're discussing alcohol, which isn't very bushcraft. Actually, I was going to say that discussing alcohol is not very bushcrafty, but let's face it, how many of like Joe Robinette's videos has he cracked open a can of beer, or even Scrambled O has done that a couple of times, and I've definitely done it some. I guess alcohol is not completely non-bushcrafty. Russell and I'm about to toss 2 knives down on the floor. I'll toss one. I just want to make sure that so I tried to ping a couple of the guys I know on Signal today, and because this computer right here that I'm on, the PC, I like it's for me since I got my new computer. This one is a live streaming and gaming computer, and so my copy of Signal was so out of date that it wouldn't. I couldn't click to update it anymore. I had to actually re-download it, and it's like 2 minutes to 9, and I'm trying to just, anyways, and which created a because I don't use this computer very much. I had a whole lot of weird little issues to deal with before getting on here tonight. Zach, fudge in the house. Holy schnitzel, dude. Where you been? In Newfoundland, we can buy beer at gas and corner stores. Yeah. It's very similar to here as well. Except for like you can also buy, cheapy wine. David says, alcohol and bushcraft are very related. You need alcohol for medicinal purposes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I self-medicate to deal with my my life. Let's just I wonder once I open this, how easy it'll be to pack it back up. I've been curious about this thing since I bought it a few days ago. Zach says life got in the way. That's a Jesse line if ever I heard one. It's crazy how life does that, eh? So let's see what this thing looks like. Oh, wow, it's black, which makes sense, actually. I don't know why I would have thought it was orange. I mean, stupid idea. You can zip that baby right up. For what reason, I do not know. I guess to keep spiders from making little egg sacs in there while you're tromping around the woods. It's a nice fine mesh. I like it. I would put it on, but I've got all these wires. So I just want to sort of see, what are we looking at here? Yeah, okay. So this goes around the shoulder. This goes on your head. Nice. I kind of think it should have come with gloves, though. Mitts or something. Know what I'm saying? Protect your little hands. You gotta protect your hands. Well, I like it. Canadian says, everyone turns into a ninja when they walk into a spider web. I like it. Tim says that he would imagine that cannabis and bushcraft would go more together. I don't know. Seems that beer is a real sort of bona fide bush drink in certain ways. Although I do have a preference for whiskey. I find that the way whiskey tastes is highly dependent on the environment. Like on my channel where I do the whiskey reviews, I do most of my reviews outside, and everything's got a nice fresh taste and smell to it. And when I drink the same drams inside, it's like this is not how I remembered it being. Whereas beer seems to stand up a little more to the elements. I'm really duffing up the repacking of this, but I don't really care. I don't really care. Now I can say that I've seen it open, and now I can't return it. So, David, if you're wrong about it being one size, I'm screw-ed. Okay. Where was I? Just making sure I'm not missing anyone here. I think so how many Grace says, I walked through so many spider webs while camping last week and I stopped carrying or trying to avoid them. Destiny asks how heavy my hammock is. I put it away. Let me see if I can find a link to what it is, because maybe that'll tell us. Let's see, hammock.ca. Free shipping and accessories. Oh my god. Because mine is the something ASIM zip. Man, I wish I'd known you were going to ask me this. I would have been all like, I would have had it here and been all prepared. Is mine the Expedition? Or is it the Scout? Scout zip? No. I think mine is the Expedition asymmetrical zip. I think they're all asymmetrical at this point. Pretty sure. Hold on. I will pop this up on the screenage. I think this is the one. Vindo. Is that it? Does that look like it? No. No, that doesn't look like that. I think that this is it. So, specs. Weight limit 250. No. Packed weight is 2 pounds 12 ounces, whatever that is. So 1,200 grams, not including the 84-gram webbing straps, which I have. So yeah, so 1.2 kilos or 2 pounds 12 ounces. Does that seem heavy? It's the only one I've ever owned. So, is there anything else you want to see? But I'm pretty sure this is it. Yeah, it came with the little bottle things and the snake skins. I want to get this thing out and strap it. Yeah, this is the kit that I got. This is it. So yeah, I want to sleep in it like at least once before going, or even just like set it up and hang out in it for a day. It's not rain proof, but it's got like the fly. That's a rain fly above it, right? Because it's just mesh under there to keep the bugs away. Canadians being a funny guy. Zach says, a family visited town for my father's wake. Oh, I guess life really did get in the way, Zach. Sorry to hear it. Learned from hanging with my cousins that tequila is not my drink. Yeah, tequila is not my drink either, man. Nope. Anyways, I'm sorry to hear about that. And I feel the need to say something, to lighten the mood. Yeah, Charles, it is a cool. Here's a funny thing though. When I ordered it, I had I just went to HennessyHammock.com or whatever. I was like, oh, it looks like a good price. And I just sort of went into autopilot and ordered it. And it was like $150 or $160. I'm not realizing that I had ordered from the American side of the website. So that was the American price. And it ended up being like $229. And at that point, when I bought this thing like 4 years ago or something, I was not as financially stable as I am right now. So I was like, oh, whoops. Country is out of Yes, I know what you're saying. Okay, we're just going to move on because I don't know if he wants us talking about that. David is asking, why not try the hammock one night and the tent the other night? I don't want to pack them both because I'm not just throwing everything into the back of the car and driving. I don't know what my packing situation is going to be like. I have no idea what I can or cannot bring on that train. I have to call via and find out if I can throw an axe into my bag or not. So I don't know. So I'd really rather not bring a tent and a hammock, which is why I want to try the hammock before going, because I know that my tent is good. I know I'm gonna, I know that it would be a successful choice, provided I don't get, flooded or anything. But yeah. Where was I? Beer's down. Now, I'm not going to touch this until 10, so I'm going to have tea and water until then. If I cannot get an axe here, David will loan me one. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do, but yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if I'm hearing that the corridor that I'm in, you don't put stuff down below and keep stuff with you. So, you keep everything with you, in which case they will not let me bring an axe, I'm pretty sure. But David says he'll loan me one, so all may not be lost. I have to borrow an axe and a knife, but I'm optimistic. Little sneezing action. Tea is a good drink, Russell. Tea is a good drink. I hope Russell has tea. I hope David and Russell each have tea. If not, you know what? I'll pack some tea just to be on the safe side, because you gotta have tea. I will make tea over the fire in the morning. That's the way you do it. You play the guitar on the MTV. It was weird. Just making sure I'm not missing anyone's comments in the side chat. I hope that what's this? Ooh, whoops. Okay. Oh, Russell actually has tea because Ray is a tea drinker as well. He's a man of rare refinement, good taste. I don't know why he's hanging with you. So good. So good. I made sun tea today. That's when you put your 3 tea bags in a big mason jar, fill it with water, tighten that baby up, and put it in the sun for the day. Nice. Off-grid tea making. I mean, you end up with iced tea at the end of it, right? It's not hot tea. So, according to Russell, you will scope out the property Friday afternoon, Bushcraft Friday night. What will you do first thing Saturday morning after your hangover? I will hang in the woods. Of course. What do you think? Charles and Annie say that I think Russell should stay in the tent one night and just stay in the cabin by himself. I'm not gonna take his cabin. I'm there to not be under a roof. I get so little opportunity. I don't want to get too excited though, because in May I was supposed to take like a 4-day canoe trip that didn't end up happening because the other person had a schedule change, or shall we say. So I'm like, I'm not setting myself up for anything. When I get there, I will believe that it's happening. I'm unsure. I don't know if I have anything to shoot a review of. Um, I just want to sort of make a fire, sleep in the woods, make some food, not get eaten by bears. You know, I'll see if I can bring something to shoot a review of. Um, like maybe just vlog the trip. Although I don't know if vlogs get that much traction. Like I don't want to waste such a cool trip and then shoot something that nobody watches. You know what I'm saying? Unless I title it, overnight in the Canadian wilderness. Just is going to do a squirrel carving tutorial. Yeah, carving squirrels the way one carves a turkey. Just kidding. Yeah, Country Boy says managed expectations are good expectations. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I would still like this year. Let's face it, this year's halfway over. I still want to do that. Some of you have seen the video where I said I want to do a video where I go camping with 1970s era stuff because I'm 1972, right? And I still want to do that. Maybe I'll have to do it next year because I have to source all the. I have to source all the stuff, you know. Zach says, eaten by bears. Are you going to the Blue Oyster Bar? No. No. The Oyster Bar. Yeah, that beer is well and truly done, I think. That's finished. That's done. It's outie. Sharon says, Destiny, I liked your idea from train station to woods and everything in between. Yeah. I should probably, I can probably shoot kind of a vloggy thing and do other videos as well. I mean, if I have enough cards, I can shoot all kinds of stuff, right? Hike with Mike says, okay, he's back. What did you miss? Not much. I'm just blathering. I'm blah, 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 blah. Talking about camping trips I'd like to do. My upcoming trip to see Russell and David. If I do kind of something vloggy, I don't know. I'll think on it. What I know is I don't want to waste the trip. And it's not gonna be a wasted trip because I'm gonna, because you take a trip, you go to the woods, you hang out with friends, but I don't want to waste the video aspect of the trip by making a silly choice. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Boxcar Jesse goes on a road trip. Hike with Mike has one more solo camp out before work begins soon. Max your time in the bush. We can hang out at any time. Yeah, we got to get some work hanging out done though. What about doing the 70s camp night at Russell's? Because I'm not gonna have time to source the stuff because I get the feeling that if I buy like a 70s era, I don't know, North Face backpack or whatever, the brown tag ones, that is gonna cost a lot. Like I don't think that buying 70s era gear is necessarily going to be all that affordable. I mean, it might be. And I do have some gear that I don't think it all has to be from the 70s, but I don't want to have any tech that wasn't available in like 1972 or 1976 or something, So my existing axes will be fine, but I also have a vintage, like a 1968 vintage Walters axe. So maybe that's the axe I bring. What I have to figure out is whether or not my Primus classic stove was around in the 70s. Because if it wasn't, then maybe I got to source like a classic stove. I kind of want a classic stove anyway, but you don't need it if my stove was made back then. But like, what kind of tent do I source, and how much is that going to cost? I'm thinking it'll probably end up being an external frame backpack. But how much is that going to cost? Because these things are sort of classics, right? It's not just secondhand. So I don't know. I don't know. I just want to do it, man. I think it's such a. I would get off on doing that video, spending an overnighter with all this classic gear. It's funny how the past few years I've developed such an appreciation for mid-century gear, 50s era, 40s era, 70s, 60s. There's some magic to it, man. The technology just wasn't there yet, and people were working with what they had. Like your outdoor gear was so often just like jeans and a flannel shirt. There was no wicking, there's no merino wool. There was wool, and there was denim. And what you were rewarded with for that was clothes that didn't go if if a spark fell on them, right? Because your clothes weren't made of plastic. They weren't all Gore-Tex and nylon. An ember falls on your wool shirt and you just brush it off. You get rained on it. It doesn't lose its thermal properties. It's not 10 yet. I'm just checking up. David Evans is reminding everyone to hit that thumbs up. I wonder how many thumbs up I've got versus how many people are hanging with us. Right now we got 27 people watching, 21 thumbs up. Oh, we're pretty close. Pretty close. Could do a little better. Just a little better. I wanted to mention this during the housekeeping segment of tonight, but those of you who watch a lot of Russell and City Girl, just in case some of you don't know, her channel is monetized. So during her Sunday coffee chats, you can super chat her now. And I'm just thrilled that she's monetized. I totally forgot to say that at the beginning of tonight. Oh, I got to take notes. I mean, non-mental notes. So if any of you guys are watching her Raspberry Rock ASMR channel, drop her a little congratulatory note in the latest video or on the coffee chat from last Sunday. I think she'll be happy to hear it. David Evan asks, what specialized camp gear do I think I'll bring? Like all I'm really planning on bringing is, knife, axe, cook set, fire kit, probably hammock, maybe tent, but probably hammock. My sleeping bag, I have to get a sleeping pad to go under my sleeping bag. I was thinking I might bring my tarp and put that up. It's a 10 by 10. That tarp is why I know what 10 feet looks like. Like that's how I know that 3 meters and 10 feet are about the same, because I know what size that tarp is. Maybe some cordage. Probably my tea can. I don't know. I think that what The biggest question is whether or not I bring carving stuff. Like if I bring it and don't use it, it's like, oh great, that took up room for nothing. And it's bladed objects I had to sneak past via rail. But if I don't bring it and I see a beautiful piece of birch that just is just begging to be carved, you know? So I don't know. Little gas stove, or maybe my twig stove, depends. Like I don't want to bring them both. I'm sort of bouncing back and forth between being like the excuse me, the belt and suspenders type and the minimalist packer, right? I'm not sure. See, now I'm thinking about that 1970s era camping trip. I love that old gear. I would love a classic, like an old stove and an old tent and an old. I've got a fairly old tent, but it's not like a 70s era tent. And it's a tent that's still made. Great tent though. Yeah, and less is truly more. Like the more you know, the less you have to carry, right? David says cook gear, portable stove, survival kit, sleep gear. Jerry wants me to leave a carved sign at the camp. Country Boy says, I still have my family's original white gas camp stove, the one you had to pump up. I don't use it, but I still have it. Man, I have good memories of one of those stoves. Bear fighting kit. So you think I should bring my 22? We don't talk about those things. Damn it, Jess. In Florida this time of year, says Hike with Mike, I don't need a lot of gear, just H2O tent, don't need to light a fire, so no saws. It really is just light packing. I don't. Excuse me. Oh, I'm getting tired. For me, the fire is not something you necessarily need. Like in a lot of seasons in Canada, you need a fire. But even if it's kind of like summer camping, I still want the fire to give the camp a sense of place. Like the campfire is the finishing touch. It's the center of the camp for me. It's the heart of the place. It's where I sit and stare into the embers at the end of a long day with maybe a little dram of whiskey. The fire for me is not only for the heat or the practicality. It's that's where the magic happens, right? It's to bring the magic to the campsite. This could have been paper and it would have been more easily recycled than this plastic crap. Shame on you, Benz. Invisinet bug jacket and mitts. And mitts? And mitts? I didn't see mitts. I think these must be mitts. Okay. Mitts. Oh. Boom, baby. All right. We got us some mitts. Got to make sure that I don't lose those as I unpack this thing. I think it's because I sort of shook it out, flung the mitts to the floor. It's like throwing your gauntlets down as a hockey player. Take that. I see. I'm not even making sense anymore. Sorry, guys. Let me repack this. And mitts. Now I'm happy. I don't know how long this thing is going to last, right? I mean, this thing was dead affordable. That original bug shirt is like a $70 purchase, but it's quite robust. Like this part is all canvas, and it's a very robust mesh. This thing feels like if you sort of breathe on it too hard, it'll disappear. So I just won't breathe on it too hard. Mitts. F and A. I almost didn't say effing. I was going to go for the whole hog there, but I figured, hey, best to protect myself from being demonetized for whatever the hell YouTube decides is the next blah, blah, blah. Are we at 10 o'clock yet? No, 4 minutes. Oh, your butterscotchy goodness. Where the heck was I? Tab or snatch? I totally lost my place. Oh yes, thank you, David. Everybody, check out City Girl's channel. Absolutely, right click to open that in a second tab, and then go and say congratulations on being monetized. Jesse sent you. David is asking what kind of average temps I can expect at that time of year. Oh, that's a good question actually. I'm very into layering. Oh, it's just fluff. I thought I had a stain. But yeah, I don't know what I should plan for. Some flannel shirts, some jeans, little classic camp chic. Maybe a little fur hat on there. Woo! Aviator hat, with the flaps. Boom, boom, boom. Down Fraggle Rock. Why is that in my head all of a sudden? Christy says, maybe Jess will see the unicorn. '70s tents are mostly all rotten. Maybe. Country boy, whether I keep that chit chat off the channel. I do talk about it for a fair amount, but just not on the YouTubes. I talk about it in other formats, like occasionally over at Russell's Discord. This is a good point. Hike with Mike says there's a primeval sense of safety with a fire that is part of our historical and genetic history. Absolutely. It does good things to my soul to be sitting there and staring at a fire. Smaller fire in the summer than it would be in the winter. In the winter, what you want, if you're looking for warmth, okay, this is coming straight from like Paul Kirtley, and I have, in my opinion, okay, I'm going to start that sentence again. This is coming straight from Paul Kirtley, and my experience lines up with this perfectly. In the winter, if you're looking for a fire to stay warm, because it's important in the winter, you want it to be big enough that you, like, after making it, you kind of have to take a step back from it a little bit. That's what you want. So it's a big fire. In the summer, I don't need a big fire. I just want a fire, because half the warmth I'm getting from it is conceptual. It's kind of, I guess, romantic. Pine Martin once called me a romantic, not in the sense of romancing women, but in the old sense of falling for things related to the interests that are not necessarily practical. Well, I don't want to show up expecting to be fed. I might dry some stuff and do a little, because I also want to have content, right? And preparing food by a fire is excellent content. I will watch videos, TikToks, YouTubes, anything of someone making food by a fire, especially if it's, man, those guys, men with the pot, 2 Polish guys in Ireland. You don't even see their faces. All you see is that big honking knife of theirs, chit chat. I watch that stuff like you wouldn't believe. I am dying to make a video of just not saying anything, just making something to eat. That isn't just throwing bacon over a stick. I would love to shoot a video of making bread or something, like in a big ass Dutch oven. My Dutch oven is not the one. I have a Dutch oven that's great for the kitchen, but it's lousy for out in the woods. Second, if the one I had in the kitchen was great for in the woods, I still would not be able to take it. But I want a Dutch oven. It doesn't have to be a huge one, because I know they come in sizes. I want a Dutch oven with the top that has a lip sorry, has a lip and then goes down a little bit, because those are designed for putting coals on. Mine is a kitchen only one with a big domed lid on it. I want a Dutch oven for bushcraft purposes. Flat top or like that slight, like that. I don't know why the transit app is giving me notifications. It's not like I've taken a bus in months. But yeah, I'm dying for one of those. Good old cast iron. Make a big honking loaf of bread. Shawnee just got here. How's it going? We're talking about all kinds of weird things. We're talking about me going to see Russell and David Evans at the end of September. We're talking about 70s era camp gear, because I'm dying to do an overnighter or a weekend with like a video of camping with stuff. Technology that was available in 1972, because that's when I was born, or like 76, or in the 70s, the mid to early 70s. We talked a little bit about my new bug shirt, which has mitts. So many things we talked about. Okay, so it's going to be around 15 or 20 C. That's perfect weather. I love it around 15 or 20. It's my favorite temperature. I have this one sort of, it goes over your hat as well. I also have a separate one that's just for the hat, which I still haven't used. I have a small portable water filter. Yeah. David says it's a nice bug kit. Yeah, now that I know it's got mitts, I'm very happy to have it. I can't wait to try this thing out. Do you think this mesh means I can go about in short sleeves under it, though? See, I'm never sure about how these things work. Like, how does a mesh keep a mosquito from getting you, So I probably still have to wear long sleeves under it, which is too bad. It's too bad. Oh no, did I say tapper snatch? Sorry. Speaking of people showing up, there's Cliff. How's it going? Good morrow to you too, sir. Yeah, those temperatures sound terrific to me, David. I love it. I will have like a sweater or a jacket or something for the night, just in case, and lighter layers for during the day. I've got all these shirts from Columbia that are, they're wicking and stuff, but they breathe really well. Yeah, Russell has a lot of exploring to do on that property of his. Huh. The tea's finished. Oh, crap. It's okay. I'll make myself one later. Everyone's saying hi to Cliff. Zach is agreeing with me about spiritual warmth from the fire. Man, when we bought this place, I was like, I want to put a fireplace or a wood burning stove in the corner. But of course, this is Montreal. So I've mentioned this before, but there's a progressive ban on stuff like that. And obviously we were not going to be grandfathered in. Sharon Q says that food over a fire is the best. And I agree. I do not like wieners, the hot dog things I do not like them. But if they're cooked over a fire, I'll meet them halfway. Hike with Mike and Campfire Steve recently camped out. We lit 3 citronella candles, and that was our campfire, and kept the bugs away too. Really, just 3 little candles? Just cooking by a fire. Yep. And it's funny because I'm still looking for a good, like a bushcraft cleaver. And maybe a big ass Nesmuk is the way to go for something like that. And I'm half tempted to order another one of those Groman number 4s, but the flat ground one, and like the kit again, and make that my bushcraft cleaver, like my bushcraft food prep knife. Because it, like, the shape of the blade, the one I have is a Scandi grind, but I can tell from the shape of the blade that it's a great food prep knife. I just wish it was flat ground. I may have to do that. I probably wouldn't video that one because I've already done that, but yeah. The cooking on the fire is my favorite. I like the canoe guys and their dehydrated. Start again. The cooking on the fire is my favorite. I like the canoe guys and their dehydrated meals. Yeah, I think I'm gonna dehydrate some stuff before I go as well. Maybe some rice and some tomato sauce or something. Oh, David says, I don't mean cooking it, just supplying it so you don't have to carry it from Montreal. Yeah, or yeah, I don't want to carry it from Montreal, but whenever we do the handoff between you and Russell, like maybe we stop off at IGA or whatever the IGA equivalent is there, so I can pick up some things, some stuffs. This whiskey does not have an E in it, David. This is Scotch. Oh, it's 10 past 10. So sweet. Brown sugar, creme brulee, butterscotch, caramel. The caramel and all those notes come from the American oak, because of course the Scotch industry is completely based on ex-bourbon barrels, so it imparts a sweetness. I don't detect anything sherry related. Does this say? Yeah. Carefully matured in the finest American oak casks, smooth to perfection. American oak means that there's no sherry finishing or sherry aging in this, because sherry is always European oak, which a sherried whiskey will have a lot of like fruit notes, dark fruits, plum, some berries, and a certain spice, because European oak is a lot spicier than American oak. American oak has vanillin in it that really ups the vanilla and the sweetness. Zach says, when my girlfriend asked for a Dutch oven as a gift when my inner 12-year-old came out. Linda's falling asleep on water. You mean like you're taking a nap in a canoe? Yeah, end of September, beginning of October, just for the weekend, like Friday to Monday kind of thing, or like Thursday night to Monday. Yeah, I think the reason I was thinking about getting a bushcraft cleaver kind of thing, and I don't even know if that's a thing. Well, actually, yeah, the men of the pot, that's technically, I think they call that a bushcraft cleaver. I don't want that knife though. I don't know if that knife is any good. Just going on the retailer that sells, or the company that makes it, like I just get a cheesy feel from them. There are a lot of knives that you see advertised on Facebook and stuff, like sharp as hell, Damascus steel, $200, blah blah blah, and it's like these knives are terrible. Or that might be bombast. They're not necessarily terrible, but they're not serious bushcraft knife level of quality. And I'm holding this up because this is cheap as chips, and this is a great freaking knife. This is my Ukrainian knife. So like Big Nesmuk or that That Grumman number 4 with the flat ground. I think that's what I want for my food prep knife. Look, I've wanted a Nesmuk for a long, long time. So if it's like my excuse to get a Nesmuk, then yay. But the number 4 flat ground would be just as good and probably more affordable. There's a lot more spice on the taste than the nose. Oh, you got a Nomad grill as a birthday gift. Nice. I like that. Condor does make a cleaver. I had forgotten about that. Do I take time to look it up now and like bore the hell out of you guys while I do that? Because what's Condor's? Are they Condor knives? Condor bush tools? What is it? What is it? Condor tool and knife. That's it. And you say they, but is it called a cleaver? Yep. Oh yeah, they got the Condor cleaver and the Primal cleaver, which is a lot smaller. Shall I share the screen? I mean, this is probably only interesting to me, but I say boom. This one looks really cool. This is bigger though. This is like full size cleaver size, I think. Whoo, that's a 7-inch blade. I'm not carrying that in the woods. Come on, man. Cheapest chips though is like $50 US. Yeah. Whereas this one is smaller. It's more expensive, but it's a much nicer looking knife. I wonder if Joe Flowers designed this. Such a cool little knife. 4-inch blade. That's right where my comfort zone is. I love it. Absolutely love it. I had forgotten about that. Thanks for reminding me. Oh yeah, good point, Russell. Don't forget to bring a rock. You're absolutely right. I will make sure that I bring some rocks. You want me to bring one for you too? Yeah, I'll trade you. I'll bring you some rocks. You give me some chaga. Oh wait, he already gave me chaga. I still have to do a video on the chaga. Shawnee, I was thinking maybe a basic chili, but lentil curry. You're a freaking genius. I like it. Oh, hey, David's finishing up his Grumman number 4 following the video. Nice. I do not need an excuse to buy an Nesmuk, but I do need money. And I'm sort of trying to not spend too much right now. Yeah, no, I'm going to bring Russell a full supply of raspberries. He can spread them around. Maybe get some raspberry bushes growing on that rock of his. Here's the thing. I know some people like Russell grind this crap into a powder. A powder and make their tea that way. And some people cut it into small chunks and make their tea that way. What I'd like to do is a video where I do both. But the thing is, making chaga tea sounds to me like it's a really time-intensive endeavor. It might make for a cool video, though. Just, cut at one point and then, well, yeah, we're here 4 hours later. I prefer to hold my whiskey this way so that I'm not changing the temperature with my that's the entire philosophy around the design of wine glasses, right? Like your wine glass, you should not be holding around the bowl. You should be holding the stem, or I always just like hold the foot of the wine glass. Keep your hand away from the wine, because otherwise you're heating the wine up and you're taking it off of its ideal temperature. Now, if you guys have ever seen like a snifter, like a brandy snifter, it's got a very substantial bowl shape. That's because that's meant for you to hold it in your hand, and it's meant for your hand to warm up the brandy inside a little bit. Anyways, that's boring. I also make pine needle tea, Mike. I make it a fair amount. Actually, more spruce, just because I have more access to spruce that isn't like next to a road, and I definitely follow the philosophy of you don't want to eat or drink anything that has grown within 100 feet of a roadway, of a busy roadway, anyway. But yeah, so good for vitamin C, so good for a nice piney resinous taste. Do you put honey or do you do it straight? One of my earlier videos, like, whenever someone discovers my channel, it's like, hey, you've got a channel. I always tell them, don't really watch much of anything before about 2018. But one of my really early videos was where I was making preparing pine needles for pine needle tea, using my old Bear Grylls survival knife, the Pro or whatever it's called. I don't do the dock plants. Shawnee makes pine needle cleaner. Well, it's good for that too. Nice piney smell. On my other channel, this is the first whiskey I reviewed in 2022. I never noticed before, but the sticker is not centered in the Dear Loch Lomond, you buggered it. Not as badly as I once discovered that the Lechic 10 here on their Canadian label had 12 years on the side label by accident. When I pinged them, I said, what's going on with that? They said, oops. And then they changed the label. I kind of feel like I shouldn't have said anything. I love stuff like that. I love stuff like that. You know what's interesting? The side chat on the YouTube page has not scrolled for me in God knows how long. So I'm just going to close it. And I will hide the chat, and then I will show the chat, and I will see if anything's happening. Okay. Zach says the first video I watched of yours was the Canadian Outdoor Equipment Company Flint and Steel kit. That was my first video for this channel. And they still have it on their website. But still 19 people watching. What are you guys doing watching my boring stuff? I don't even have Russell here to keep me from being dull. I was gonna say you could sleep on the dock. I like Russell says there ain't gonna be a lot of bugs, but I'm still not entirely sure, especially because down near water, I'd be afraid of getting eaten by mosquitoes. I just want to smell rural air instead of diesel stink, you know? Stop sharing. Yes, I have stopped sharing. Oh, sorry. I've lost my... Okay. Stop that screen. There's something else I was going to say. Oh, yeah. And I'm going to bring a tick key. I've got a tick key just in case. I have gotten to 50 years without ending up with a tick embedded in my flesh. But I'll bring the key just in case. Did a video on the tick key too. Short one. So good. Yeah, my sleeping bag is not water. I don't even know which sleeping bag I'm going to bring. I have two. One is one of those like down to minus whatever 8. Things. I think it's down to minus 8, minus 10. And I have another one that is a straight up summertime bag. I think I should take the minus 8 one. That one was a gift for my wife. It's a Mavericks by starts with an M. If Tenenbaum was still here, he'd be like, "Oh, it's this." The hell's it called? I don't remember. Martin? How come I don't know what this bloody bag is called? Sleeping bag. Mavericks. Marmot. Thank you. It's a Marmot Mavericks. Not the double wide. Just the single one. Mavericks 40, I think it is. Yeah. Mavericks. That's what it is. By Marmot. Hike with Mike says that he sleeps on top of the sleeping bag this time of year. I sleep on top of the bag almost any time of year. I'm a hot sleeper. Like in the middle of winter, in the bedroom upstairs, I have to have like one leg out of the blankets. I just I get way too stinking hot. So I almost never zip up my sleeping bag. And very often I'll just sleep on top of it with a sheet. Oh, Tenenbaum is still here. I thought you would have you fell asleep or something. But yes, Marmot. It's a Marmot Mavericks. Of course, man, dude, it's 10:23 here, so it must be like getting light out where you live. I only sleep in silk. Okay. Cotton t-shirt, boxer shorts. That's how I sleep. One thing I do have to get between now and then is a sleeping bag liner. I might just make one out of an old cotton sheet. But there are way better temperature regulating fabrics like bamboo. You can get a silk liner for a lot of money, but I feel that I would sleep a little cooler in silk. Silk is not a very bushcrafty fabric, but Mountain Equipment Company sells sleeping bag liners. David Evans, are the ticks back east deer ticks or wood ticks? Here it's deer ticks, and they're usually gone by end of August. Aren't deer ticks the ones that you kind of don't want anything to do with? Aren't deer ticks the ones start again? Are deer ticks not the ones that carry the disease? 99% deer ticks. Great. Shawnee says, video idea. What I'm packing for a hammock camping trip. Once I figure out. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Christy's asking what I'm drinking tonight. Must have missed it. Making mine. I am drinking the Loch Lomond 12-year. You talk the high road. It's 46% alcohol by volume. 750 milliliters, which is getting surprisingly rare for Scotch. Because European sizes tend to be 700 mil. And so the UK industry went with the European sizing for a long, long time. Zach just uses his sleeping bag as a comforter. Yeah. Hey, Jim. Just got in the vehicle to drive home from a rough one at work. Nice to see you. Yeah. No, Russell, I think you're right. I'm going to do a prep video. I did a prep video with Cody for a trip that we were taking, and I let her direct that video, and it did fairly well. It was cute. It was very cute. My scotch of scotch is done. I shall have some water. Wrestle Destiny's got a question for you here. Has your satellite dish moved, or is it still facing up? Just curious. Was that a conversation you guys were having? Do you need to move your dish? Country Boy says, it's weird that yours last until September or October. I've never had a tick on me during hunting season. Destiny, Russell can hardly see his dish for the weeds. David is going to fill. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. Getting off the train under a pile of stuff. How many of you guys have seen Labyrinth? You know, kind of at the end where the Jennifer Connelly character, whatever her name is, she's being chased, and like she sits down or something and says, "I get off my back." She looks down, and it's this little creature that accumulates stuff on its back, and she starts saying, "Here's, you need Betty Boo. Here you need," and she's putting it on the Connelly's character's back, and just developing this large pile of stuff. Maybe I'll get off the train looking like that, bowed under this huge pile of crap. Shawnee, you just reminded me of a long time ago, the very first bushcraft YouTuber I ever watched. My gateway to the entire YouTube bushcrafting community was Bushcraft Bartons. Now, he's an evangelical, and he has a Filipino wife who he met through a mission somewhere. They make a great team. They're clearly both way into the outdoors. And there was this episode where they were both sleeping in hammocks, and he's looking at himself and says, "Here's the difference between a man and a woman camping." And he showed like his boots just sort of kicked into the dirt under his hammock. And then he panned over to her hammock, and under it, she had folded up a towel so that she could take off her boots and have and not get dirt on her feet for when she got into the hammock. You just totally reminded me of that. Just boom. And I haven't really watched Bushcraft Bartons in a long time. I don't know. There was a video or two where he kind of got a little Bible-y, and I'm not going to piss on anyone for having faith, but I watch bushcraft videos for the bushcraft. I don't want a Bible study. I don't want your politics. I don't, I watch bushcraft videos for the bushcraft. I watch the Young Turks or something for the politics, Chrissy loves that movie. I do too. An absolute classic of the genre. Sharon says we need to see you being transported in on the ATV. David thinks I should drink more whiskey without an E. No, I'm gonna leave it for tonight because I gotta be. I'm on a really vicious deadline at work, so I have to be on tomorrow, during the day. And if I have more whiskey with it, the E, I'll be a little tired and maybe not work as fast as I have to. That's all I'm going to say about the day job. We need you getting off the train yelling. We got no special features for a Books Fest special features video. We're just like getting off the train. Oh crap! I miss having cats, Mike. Zach, that I could see that movie freaking out kids. There are definite freaky elements to that film. It's not just a bunch of puppets and a bunch of fun. There's a real dark undertone to that movie. Absolutely. But back then they allowed darkness to be in movies that were ostensibly for kids. It's so sanitized these days. So sanitized. It's funny. You just remind me. I have been dying to watch a couple of Studio Ghibli films. I've seen almost all of them anyway, but I want to rewatch Nausicaa of the Valley of the Winds. I've had this urge to watch that film again for months now. I think Studio Ghibli is probably one of my favorite animated production houses. And I'm including guys like DreamWorks. There's a real magic to Studio Ghibli films. I don't know what they're going to do when that guy dies to keep the level of the quality up, because his son is nowhere near as good as he is. And he is like starting to retire. Miyazaki's starting to retire. It's going to be like... Can you imagine being in a position where you can start to retire? Like where you can go on, like, you slowly step back, slowly turn the reins over to someone else. That's power. Heck with Mike asked, what's my favorite movie? I don't know if I have one favorite movie. I could probably give you like a top 5. When Harry Met Sally is definitely there. I'm gonna just go for script writing, okay? So that's why, like, When Harry Met Sally is definitely in my top 5, because fabulous. I've watched it 47 times, and I would watch it another 47. The combo of fabulous writing, fabulous acting across the board is just... Star Wars, what is now called Episode 4. Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, definitely there. Absolutely the strongest of the Star Trek films. Don't get me started on the Star Trek films made by Jar Jar Abrams. Like, no. It's got to be some Studio Ghibli on there. It's hard to pick one, though, like, I really like Nausicaa. I have a real fondness for Ponyo, because that was the first one that my daughter Camille watched, and she'll still watch it again. She still calls it one of her favorite movies. Akira. I used to love Dangerous Liaison, but nowadays I sometimes mix up Dangerous Liaison with Valmont. Both terrific films. Not everyone loves either of them, but I wouldn't call that anywhere near. I'm blanking. I'm absolutely blanking right now. Christy says, "Where is Russell? He's taking it easy tonight. That's fine. That's fine. Are you saying I'm boring, Christy? Is that what's going on here? You don't like me all by myself?" Princess Mononoke. Oh yeah, very solid. And Moving Castle. Sorry, but my sinuses are starting to go crazy. Absolutely, those are both very solid choices. You love that Jar Jar Abrams. Uh he's done some terrific stuff, but no. Return of the Jedi, man, I have very strong memories of Return of the Jedi. I went to see it with my class, and I think that when I rewatch Star Wars movies, I'm trying to recapture the way it felt to see them the first time. And Return of the Jedi, there's a lot tied up in that film for me. I watched it with my class, at the end of which there's one of the boys kept talking about how cool it was to see the Super Star Destroyer, go into the Death Star like a hot knife through butter. I just remember him talking about it using those words. And that summer, I remember being at my dad's place in Vancouver, North Van, and I had enough money to buy like a biker scout with the speeder bike, and I didn't appreciate how good those toys were. Like, they don't make them like that anymore. The plastic is crap now. And I remember like Human League was top of the charts in Vancouver that summer. And my dad had a crappy apartment, but I loved that place. Some like forest green carpeting across it's just like, and my dad was a carpenter at the time. But just that summer, that year was lightning in a bottle, and Return of the Jedi was part of that. Oh, Good Will Hunting is a good film. Mike, that is a terrific film. I also really liked Grosse Pointe Blank. That was with John Cusack and Minnie Driver. I don't think I'll bring in a camping chair. Oops. This is what I meant to click on. His son's Boba Fett costume is Return of the Jedi, and he just got it approved. Nice. There's a whole process behind that, isn't there? In fact, that song was that, Human League. Fascination, that was that summer. And there was also some song that went, "We are going on a summer holiday," and I blanked on the rest of it, but I think, was that Human League as well? I don't remember. I thought Galaxy Quest was terrific. I don't know Private Eyes, though. Okay. Zach, my favorites: Hot Fuzz, Empire Strikes Back, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Police Academy, Baby Driver, and Galaxy Quest. It's funny because if I had time and I could just write them down, I could come up with like a top 5, a top 10, but I'm blanking right now because I'm on the spot. But Rob on the internet, Return of the Jedi brings back some feels for me too. Yeah, absolutely. Country Boy says, "Time flies just fine all on its own. Jazz flies just fine all on his own." Love it. Minnie Driver, ooh la la, I had such a crush on her. Yeah, well, legit choice. Oh, Private Eyes was Don Knotts and Tim Conway. Okay, so it's a fairly old film. That Boba is the hardest to get certified? I didn't know that. I didn't know Minnie Driver was on Will and Grace. My wife watched all of Will and Grace. I watched some of Will and Grace. There are a series that I watched all of to be like the good life partner, like Charmed. I watched all of Charmed to be a good life partner. But Will and Grace, I did not watch all of. Gilmore Girls, I did not watch all of. I found Rory to be unbelievably unlikable. Kind of had a crush on Lorelai, though. How did we end up talking about movies? Oh, someone asked me what my favorite movies were. Am I frozen for any of you? Because on the YouTubes, I'm frozen for me. No, it's moving now. Okay. Oh, hi, Growth Mike says fast times at Ridgemont high. Not frozen. God, me neither. Not frozen. I've seen that movie so many times because of kids. Okay, so I didn't freeze for you guys. I'm gonna sneeze. So much dust down here. I think that's what I'm allergic to. That's what I'm so jazzed that there are mitts in this. I'm like, I keep looking at it. Oh, I see. Okay, for some reason I thought that Destiny was saying that she didn't like Frozen, and Rob on the internet saw where she was going, or saw where I thought she was going. Thanks, Christy. Water. You know, there are a lot of movies that I've watched purely because of who was in the starring role. Like, I'll watch pretty much anything with John Cusack in it. At one point, I would have watched anything with Will Smith in it. Sean Connery, boom, I'm there. Harrison Ford, I'm totally there. That's a bunch of guys, though. It's funny how I didn't mention any women in that. I'd watch almost anything with like Emma Thompson in it. I think she's fabulous. Grey's Anatomy. My wife has watched all of Grey's Anatomy a couple of times, or I guess they're still making it, but there's a lot of Grey's Anatomy that goes on in this house. But I draw the line. Rob also suffered through the Frozen. Yeah, I know that song front and back, just like you. Charles likes Clint Eastwood movies. Yeah, nice choice. Hike with Mike likes anything with Matthew McConaughey. I think you're right. I generally tend to enjoy. I think I don't think he's an extremely versatile actor, but what he does very, very well. And he's just fun to watch, you know? Yeah, absolutely, Destiny. Absolutely. Apparently Emma Thompson's personal life is an absolute wreck, but she's so good on stage, on screen. Christy's a big James Bond fan, and Sean Connery was her favorite. He's probably my favorite too. When I used to write video reviews, I received a bunch of when Warner Brothers, I believe it was re-releasing the James Bond, like all remastered, and I got all or most of the Sean Connery era Bonds. I think he's my favorite as well. Absolutely. And I really like those old movies. Look, there's a lot of stuff that happens in old movies that would never get done today because of where we are in our relationship to non-male and non-white people and everything. But I still think that some of those I received when I was working for the same company, um, the old 1950s era. I think it was Disney put it out, the Zorro TV show, black and white. There was a time in my life when you could not get me to watch an old ass black and white TV show. But I tell you something, I loved that show. Types of fire starter am I bringing? I will bring enough rocks to make a fire pit. Absolutely. I'm gonna bring a little jar of fuel oil, like gasoline. I hear it's good for making fires. Just trying to catch up because everything just jumped in, so I'm trying to find where I was. I'm not like frozen or anything. I think Dead Poet Society was terrific. Dazed and Confused, yeah, okay. But Dead Poet Society, can I just? We're talking totally about movies now, and it's not even remotely bushcrafty, but that's okay. When Robin Williams let slip the bonds of Earth, I took that really personally because I don't want to TMI you guys, but he got me through some really dark stuff. And so when he was no longer with us, I really took that personally. And there was no reason to have taken it personally. He never knew who I was or anything, but and maybe it wasn't that I literally took it personally, but that's the nearest way I know how to explain the utter jolt that was, because he got me through some really weird stuff. And I do believe that the world was better with him in it. But I'm of an age where a lot of the actors and stuff that I watched as a younger person are disappearing. And like at one point there'll be no one left from that. At one point Billy Crystal's going to be gone. And I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. Anyway. No, I hated Married with Children. I couldn't handle it. David Evans is going to bed. Good night, sir. See you next time. I love it. Christy says, rename the live stream to Beers, Blaze, Bushcraft, and the Unknown. But then it sounds like I'm gonna like do a dark web kind of thing, or start talking about UFOs and wearing a tinfoil hat. Yeah, that was rough, man. That was really rough on me. Jim says, closer to Bushcraft. How about Jeremiah Johnson? I don't know. I have no idea. It's funny. There's a bunch of movies that I need to see. And it's funny because I went to film school, but there are some pretty seminal films that I haven't seen. I haven't seen The Deer Hunter, dude. Who the hell hasn't seen The Deer Hunter? Me. Oh, one of my favorite films of all time, back to that, is Streetcar Named Desire. Absolutely fabulous play. One of my favorite plays. One of my favorite movies. So good. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I never saw. Oh, I love The Piano as well. Yeah, I haven't seen the Jeremiah Johnson. I haven't seen the Revenant or whatever. Hey, Bettina's here. 9 minutes to closing, and Bettina shows up. Nice to see you. Hike with Mike says the Deer Hunter, amazing movie. I know. I know. I've been told by so many people that I must see this film. Christopher Walken does rock. I want to see Jurassic Park again. I loved that movie, and like I live in Montreal, right? So Soft Image and Discrete Logic were both here, and they both make the software, or made, because neither of those companies exist as independent entities anymore. But they were the two companies whose software made Jurassic Park happen. And so when that film came out, this town was in its groove. And Discrete Logic and Soft Image used to be on the same street, and they would sort of, both teams would eat in like the same restaurants at lunchtime, and it was like seeing, because these people were creating the cutting edge that Hollywood was depending on. Like these guys were creating new stuff, making stuff more possible than ever before. Just like they create, the dinosaurs, for God's sakes. Digital fire, like flames that looked like real. Anyways, so it used to be, you'd be on Saint Laurent Boulevard at lunchtime in certain restaurants, and you were surrounded by people who lived the cutting edge of digital film technology. Both of the most important companies were right there. I mean, this is when like Pixar was still in the garage, essentially, I still haven't seen No Country for Old Men. Still haven't seen it. Weird, right? How are there still 23 people watching this? You guys are heroes, man. Okay, 23 people watching, but how many thumbs ups do I have? Okay, we're good. Need to take a bit more water. Yeah, I gotta rewatch Jurassic Park. I remember loving that movie. Not just for the scenes of the dinosaurs, but just such a good action film. Like, the technology behind bringing the dinosaurs back to life was utterly bogus, but you didn't care because it was a fun movie. Well done, fun film. Country Boys bringing us back to the lube talk, I see. Jim did not love The Revenant. That's good to know. Absolutely, good to know. I will not feel pressure to watch it. I feel that the outdoors, like the survivalists and stuff in Hollywood, always end up coming across as dirt bags or as villains or whatever. And so I don't know where I was going with this. I had something to say about this, but it just suddenly disappeared on me. Into the Wild, best outdoors movie. I believe I did see that. I did see that. I don't know where I was going with whatever the heck I was talking about. I love it. Zach Fudge says, there's a reason the alarm I set for this stream is Ramblin' Man. I love these off-topic conversations. Well, as I said at the beginning of this, next week is going to be very on-topic because I'm bringing my interview series back. And next week, if all goes well, and all seems to be going well, it's going to be Kevin Callan. He's going to be talking about his newest book that's coming out very soon. And I'm going to be talking to him about Once Around Algonquin, his memoir of the trip that he took when he did the Meanest Link with his buddy. So I'm massively looking forward to next week, because it'll be nice to get my interview series back in action. Some of you have never seen my interview or panel discussions. Some of you will remember those. It's been a long time since now, the interviews and panel discussions were always like an irregular thing. Every few months I'd do one, but it was good to be doing them. I enjoyed them massively, and I'm looking forward to getting that back into business. Revenant was entertaining. It just didn't live up to what I hoped it would be. That film got a lot of hope. I was just gonna yawn on you guys. Sorry. That film did get a lot of buzz, and I find the more buzz, the harder it is for films to live up to it sometimes. It sounded like the casting was good, like very good, in fact. Because it's so stankin' hot, it's really sweaty under these things. And it's funny because I just realized there's no one else on screen. I haven't needed to wear this entire live stream. Oh well. Rob fell asleep during the Revenant. That's good to know. Tenenbaum says it was beautifully shot. I'm a sucker for a beautifully shot movie. That bit me in the ass for what was it called? Avatar? Yeah, Avatar. Because I went to see it and I loved it, man. I left the theater like, this is so good. And then over time, I thought about it, and no, it wasn't. It was just really, really impressive. I mean, it wasn't a bad film, absolutely, but it wasn't. This is so good level filmmaking. It was just another. I don't want to say a half-baked adventure film, because I don't want to make it sound like it was a bad movie. But I would never put it anywhere near my top 20. There just wasn't. The script was not strong enough. The storyline was not strong enough. It was all just the same old tropes, coming back. Naming the stuff they were mining for, whatever, unobtainium, was a cheap trick, because anyone who has spent any time in the tech industry knows that unobtainium is a term. Like if you're into whiskey, Pappy Van Winkle is unobtainium, because you just can't get it. Zach fell asleep watching Oblivion in theaters. Yeah, Christy. The thing about the UK is that it's normally such a temperate country that they cannot handle. Like when I checked the news earlier, like London was on fire. They had 10 major fires across the entire city. A lot of them were started like grass fires that were started, and their fire brigade was absolutely overwhelmed. There's no AC. I mean, they're not used to this kind of wicked heat, and the government is saying that it's anyway, they're saying that this is climate change. This is human created climate change, and we're probably going to deal with this like every 3 years. So they're going to need to figure out how to exist in the new world, I fell asleep at a Rush concert. I'm not even a big Rush fan. I mean, I'm very impressed by them. I'm not a fan, but I don't think I'd fall asleep. Well, these days I fall asleep on everything. I have to edit a video so that it can go out on Friday. And last night I went upstairs sat down on the couch in my solarium while like my daughter got ready for bed just to make sure she went upstairs. And I woke up at 4 this morning, which means that tomorrow night I'm going to really have to haul arse on that video. You know? Zach Fudge, their homes are built to keep heat in. Never used to get that hot. Absolutely. Absolutely. Raven is asking a question that we're all wondering. Fell asleep or passed out? Hike with Mike. Hike says, I hate hurricane season. Always on edge until November. Oh, we're at 2,300 hours. So I'm going to shut her down here because I'm tired and I have a few things to do before going to bed. And I'm at that stage where I'm about to get really kind of boring anyway. So even though we've still got some cool numbers happening, there's 27 people. There were like 23 people like 5 minutes ago, but I got to work in the morning. I still haven't won the lottery, so I still have to do the day job, guys. So as I said, next weekend, it'll be an hour of a straight up interview with Kevin Callan, and then an hour of people can come on to ask a few questions if they are so inclined. But it will not be the freewheeling format that tonight has been. That's for sure. Between now and then, I instruct all of you to please be safe, be healthy, stay sane, and be kind to one another. Good night, everyone. See you next time.